Lots of people love a prank, but most pranksters aren't as creative as they like to think they are. The stick-to-the-bog standard pranks. But some pranksters are on a high other level of genius thinking. These are the craziest pranks of all time. Number 15. A girl pranking her boyfriend by pouring fake blood in toilet. Wow, living with this Lance guy has got to be pretty exhausting. It seems like his life is essentially just a long series of pranks on his family. His grandmom gets the biggest share of shocks, but his girlfriend definitely gets pranked on a very regular basis. While they seem to be mostly having fun, and fortunately everyone has a great sense of humor, I would imagine that the urge to play pranks on Lance Stewart must be fairly powerful as well. So that's exactly what we see here when his girlfriend, Julia Summer, decides to get her own back on the serial prankster. It must be like living in a Tom and Jerry cartoon around their house. This one's a little bit weird, but we do see her toss something into the toilet bowl, looking like a tampon, and then she pours about a quart of gloopy fake blood all over it. Simple, but effective. However, she keeps filming as Lance heads for the bathroom, and finally we hear a retching noise from behind the door. Jeez, these crazy kids. But really, a period prank? Come on, you can handle it, Lance. You're a big boy, aren't you? Before we go on, like this video, smash the subscribe button, and click the notification bell right now, or this centipede will crawl on your face when you're sleeping. Now it's time for the sweet topic. Sometimes, no matter how much we love our pets, it can be fun to tease them and play a prank on them. In this super cute and hilarious footage, a guy uses fake lions and tigers, basically large toys, in order to scare dogs. Now I have to say, it is super adorable. The dog leaps out of his skin, and to be fair, if I thought a lion or tiger was about to attack me, I'd be just as scared, wouldn't you? I sure hope that somebody eventually explained to the dog that the big animals weren't real. Comment down below using the hashtag #SweetTopic and let me know what you think in relation to what I just showed you on the screen. And with that, let's keep things moving. Number 14. Broken neck prank. Now for all of those would-be pranksters out there, this one's a simple prank that just about anyone can do, and you hardly need any stuff to make it work. First, decide on your unwitting victim. You can choose somebody who you know will be extra concerned when they think the worst has happened, or just practice on basically anyone who happens to be hanging around. Next, and just how much you want to play on this part is up to you, if you're a bit of an actor, you could spend a while moaning about your neck or your back giving you some problems, and then limp around a little bit for good effect. While you're doing this, you're going to need to find a way to conceal a couple of bits of dried pasta between your back teeth. The tube shaped on either side is especially effective. Next, choose your victim. They'll no doubt be concerned about your discomfort and be willing to give you a hand. So when you ask them to crack your back or neck, for you, they'll probably do it. As they attempt to assist you, this is where you bite down hard on the pasta. The ensuing crunch will send your victim reeling in horror as they think that sound came from your bones, and then there you go. Number 13. Mom cuts off finger to prank sons. This mom would take her revenge on her prankster sons by creating a practical joke that may actually end up haunting them forever. Here we see Felicity Kane bring us in on her scheme as she explains she's going to make it look like she chopped off her fingers by using just a couple of really simple items. She peels a carrot into the approximate shape of her fingertip, tapes her own middle finger down using a piece of duct tape, and then literally applies blobs of fake blood to the scene. With the stage set, the camera in position to capture the boys' reactions, Felicity musters all of her best, acting skills. As she bellows for help, that's when her kids rush in, and horror begins to spread across their faces as they quickly understand the apparent culinary carnage that's being placed in front of them. As she shouts instructions, the boys just run around like chickens with their heads cut off, grabbing useless items and shouting. Then she finally says, "Get my phone," and gestures towards where it's set up filming the whole stunt, and realization kicks in on the boys. They've been punked, and even more embarrassingly, by their mom. Oh, and then she went and put it on TikTok. Number 12. Bottle surprise prank. Clearly nobody wants to see a guy indulging in a spot of public urination. I mean, that's just disgusting. But this simple trick seems to make a whole lot of people get their knickers in a twist, just trying to figure out what's going on. Most people, even if they're caught short, won't just begin tinkling right there on the sidewalk. I mean, even if they're really desperate. So it's no wonder that people walking by this joker simply don't know what to make of the whole situation. With his back turned on an unsuspecting passerby, the prankster's just innocently squeezing a water bottle from behind, and it looks like he's committing a misdemeanor. But this trick makes people who are just minding their own business take a second look. Is this ding-dong really piddling on the pavement? And some of those incredulous faces are absolutely priceless. Now, I'm not quite sure what the aim of the prank even really is, because it turns out that it's just a water bottle. So I'm not sure who actually looks silly here. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Number 11. Kool-Aid shower prank. Anyone can try this next round of silliness. All you really need is a satchel of some kind of Kool-Aid mix and a shower. Oh, and an unsuspecting victim. So take your Kool-Aid powder into the bathroom, unscrew the shower head, and then tip the contents of the packet into the nozzle. Next, reattach the shower head and wait for your prankee to then go in and take a shower. You do need to time it all out right so that it does get the right person. Depending on what color Kool-Aid you choose, the next person to take a shower is going to get a surprising puddle. So if you choose red, there may be a Carrie-esque moment where it seems as though blood is streaming down out of the shower, but then again, maybe not. I mean, do you really stand straight under the shower when you turn it on? It's gotta be freezing cold. You gotta let it warm up, right? Results for this particular prank are mixed, and unless you generally hang around in the bathroom waiting for someone to turn the shower on, it could be a decidedly underwhelming result. Number 10. Hand stuck in the cup prank. No doubt you've already seen this wacky caper. This TikTok trick has been doing the rounds all over the usual internety places, and it's a bit of a funny one, really. The prankster pretends that they've got their hand stuck in a cup or a drinking glass or some other kind of object, and it seems to work best when they're doing the dishes. That's when they call out to someone nearby to help them get their hand out of the receptacle. It all sounds pretty basic so far, but bear with me. The eager Good Samaritan usually leaps to their stricken friend's assistance, as anyone would, I'm sure. Then that sneaky old trickster makes a lot of fuss, and while asking for help, takes their stuck hand out of the container, usually to point at the soap or something to use in order to help free them. Then they bung it back in again. It's actually amazing how the person trying to help doesn't notice straight away that the stuck hand's actually free, but they usually don't. Sometimes it's possible for the prankster to repeatedly take their hand in and out of the cup before the other person even realizes the trick. I honestly don't know how this works so well, but people do seem to fall for it quite easily. I guess the person's just focused on trying to help rather than being hoodwinked. So that's kind of sweet, really. Number 9. Balloon cake prank. Honestly, playing a trick on someone at their birthday party does seem kind of mean, but I guess this is one that you could keep for your frenemies. Just don't make a cake like this for your grandma. There's been a bit of a trend lately for bored party people hiding a booby trap in their buddy's birthday cake. Some of the footage out there is distinctly phony looking, so you don't always need to feel too bad for these victims. The general idea is that there's a balloon hidden inside the birthday cake. The birthday boy or girl will then cut into the cake and the balloon explodes. And then I guess a lot of hilarity ensues, right? Sometimes the balloon is just full of air, the popping causing the cake toppings and frosting to splooge all over the place unceremoniously, or it could contain cream and other tasty sorts of goo that will cover the unfortunate cake cutter in a festive mess. Finally, an alternative is a classic water balloon, which then bursts and spoils everyone's expectations at a delicious cake. What a waste, really. Nobody wants to eat it all soggy and speckled with balloon bits, you jerks. Number 8. The air horn prank. Now, what's wrong with a classic whoopee cushion? I mean, come on. Why is there always someone who's got to take things way too far? If you've ever been surprised by a really loud noise, then you'll know that it can be rather upsetting and cause all kinds of spillages, bumps, and even accidents. So when you get a joker with a flipping air horn, it could seriously cause a lot of carnage. To be fair, if you air horn the wrong individual, you could be in for a lot more than a giggle. With so much footage of people dropping their phones or falling over after being victim of the old air horn lark, these pranksters had better get themselves lawyered up, or at least make sure they can outrun the angry person who just shattered their phone into 1,000 sad little pieces. And you've really got to ask yourself, is it all really worth it? Why not just try a whoopee cushion instead? Farts are a lot funnier and probably a lot less likely to find you punched in the nose. Number 7. Shattered TV prank. You've had a tough day at work. All you want to do is get home, kick off your shoes, watch a little bit of the tube. But some joker has other ideas, and they want you to be the butt of their rubbish joke. So this trick involves downloading a very realistic looking cracked screen image, then getting the image to show up on the television. For extra effect, you can actually set a scene, leaving an object that could have broken the screen laying around somewhere close by. You old creative scallywag, you. Then all you have to do is just remove the batteries from the remote and wait for the unwitting telly addict to return. As you could imagine, this one does raise the victim's blood pressure somewhat as they stomp around in fury and probably wonder how they can afford to replace the broken television. It's best not to try this particular hoax on your father just minutes before the Super Bowl or something like that, though, because he's going to be angry enough as it is. Number 6. The taped door. It's such a simple trick that you hardly need any gear to pull it off. Take a piece of clear sticky tape, stretch it across an entryway, and make sure that if there is a door, that it opens the opposite way, or your prank's not gonna work. Duh. Then just wait for your poor unsuspecting victim to walk right through your booby trap. As the tape is see-through, they probably won't spot it until they've blundered straight into it. It's kind of like walking through a spider web. One word on positioning though, the height that you put the tape does matter. Because obviously, if your intended victim is super tall or especially miniature, then you're going to have to account for that. But also, if you put it too low, well, you're just going to trip them up. And that could end an afternoon of fun at the emergency room. And trust me, nobody's going to be finding that prank hilarious. Also, don't forget that you taped up the door and end up falling for it your own self. Although that would definitely be funny and ironic, and you probably deserve it. Number 5. Secretly flipping the camera on your loved ones to catch their adorable reactions to your dance prank. Now, this one is just so cute. TikTok is full of dancing people. That's pretty much how they got their start. But what else is happening on the other side of the camera behind all of those videos? This TikTok craze shows a whole lot of lovely reactions as people are secretly filmed while their loved one is dancing. The idea is that the dancing individual is supposedly filming themselves doing some sweet moves for the TikTok, but they have actually flipped their camera around and they're really filming their friends and family's reaction to the dance. Babies smiling as their mothers bust a move, boyfriends bopping as their girlfriends groove, and they're all having a great time. You just gotta love it. Now, I guess there are a mixture of reactions out there, from bemused rabbit in the headlight style to enthusiastic participants, but one thing they all seem to have in common is cuteness. The way that some of these guys react is just adorable. It's less of a prank and more of a little glimpse into all of the love out there. Number 4. Attempt the hoodie and fridge mix-up prank. So, the backwards hoodie fridge prank, which of course is another TikTok craze you probably know about, or maybe like me, you don't because you don't give a rat's ass, is essentially where the prankster puts a hoodie on backwards and opens the refrigerator. So it appears that they're standing looking for something inside. When their victim approaches, the Joker then pulls the hoodie down, giving their family member one heck of a jump scare. It's simple, but it's also surprisingly effective. Some of these nutters mix it up with scary masks and hairdos as well. But what happens if the prank goes just a little bit wrong? This guy named Chase sets up the hoodie fridge prank seemingly successfully, standing there, looking to all intents and purposes as if he's fascinated by something in the fridge, and feet the wrong way round. All going well so far. But that's when his wife Jen enters into the kitchen and wanders around a little bit. However, as she turns to leave, she takes a cheeky swipe at what she thought was her husband's backside. That's gotta sting a little bit. Chase is suddenly hunched over on the floor, clutching his groin, while Jen laughs hysterically when she realizes what's happened. It's risky old business, this leg-pulling malarkey, but I guess these are the dangers of the prankster's life. You live by the hood, you gotta be prepared to die by the hood. Number 3. Fake asleep on FaceTime in front of your boyfriend and see his reaction. This FaceTime TikTok challenge seemed to capture the imagination of a bunch of people who were curious how this would go down with their partners or friends. The general idea is to fake falling asleep while you're on a FaceTime call with your boyfriend, or whoever, and then see how they react. Now, I don't know, but it could seem a little rude to fall asleep mid-conversation with someone. However, I guess some of these guys didn't feel too affronted. The cute footage of their reactions is out there on the internet for all to see. So sometimes the quote-unquote prank, and really this is a super mild one, isn't it? Well, it goes a little bit wrong, and instead of a doting boyfriend gazing lovingly at his sleeping sweetheart, he just hangs up the phone. And yeah, I guess that makes as much sense as almost any other reaction. Some guys' first reaction is to take a photo of the sleeper, perhaps turning the table on them, or else maybe they try to gently wake them up, and these are probably the sweetest ones. Other than a way to pass a bit of time, I don't really know what this prank really shows. You gotta help me out there and leave your comments below. Number 2. Mayo cream-filled donut prank. Oh, this one just makes me want to puke thinking about it. This one's got to be a prank for some of the more ruthless jokers out there amongst you, and only if you don't mind losing a friend in the process. You're going to need a donut or two, some mayonnaise, a strong sandwich bag, and a poor hapless donut-loving half-wit. You then take your donut and poke a hole in it. The plain kind works best for this foul-flavored frolic. Then you take a plop of mayonnaise, put it into the plastic sandwich bag, seal it or twist it at the top, and carefully cut the corner in order to squeeze the mayo into the hole that you poked in the donut like you would a pastry bag. This can add an extra dusting of icing sugar, but just don't use baby powder like one guy did because that's absolutely nasty. Then all you have to do is offer your revolting snack to an unwitting donut lover and watch them get totally grossed out, if that's your thing. It's a pretty cruel trick to play on anyone, and enough to put them off of donuts for life. Just be warned though, these sorts of disgusting pranks can cause some serious payback, so you'd better keep your wits about you and be careful who's offering you your favorite treats in the future. Is there vengeance lurking in that birthday cake? Are those really raisins on that bun? Number 1. Whipped cream pranks. A classic practical joke for the biggest of clowns, the paper plate full of whipped cream is a time-honored prank that's favored by the cheekiest of jokers ever since time began. Just be sure to pick that right victim, or this one could seriously backfire. There are a couple of cute variations on the whipped cream pie to the face. I like the one where the prankster got all the chat as if they were setting up for an ingenious science experiment. It does involve a bit more planning and a few more props, a couple of bottles of water joined by a piece of string, the paper plate and squirty cream, and a pair of scissors. The jokester has their prankee hold their hands out in front, palms up. They then place the string over their hands with the bottles hanging down, one on each side, and then next they place the plate of whipped cream on the victim's upturned hands. One snip of the scissors to the string and the bottles drop, and then the victim's hands automatically pull upwards, countering the force of the bottles, and they pie their own face. It's classic. Now obviously, if you're short of time or can't be bothered with all of that, then there's the simple but effective custard pie to the mug that anyone can do. However, your victim is going to need a very specific sense of humor here, and frankly, they may well be really cheesed off. You can't say I didn't warn you. So what kind of prankster are you? Do you like to craft the elaborate, super mean prank, or are you just more likely to fall for one yourself? Let us know all about it in the comments below. Also, be sure to check out the other cool stuff that's showing up on the screen, and I'll see you next time.